Welcome to Travis Laughs. I don't really have any jokes for you, but I just got my teeth cleaned today, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity to get my pearly whites on camera before I started drinking coffee again. I wonder about the strangest things sometimes, like my actions when I mean well. I wonder if sometimes in reality they make me the bad guy. Like if I hear a coworker yelling at another coworker and I go intervene to help keep the peace and I tell Yelly McYeltsin, hey, that's not professional, don't do that here. And then I find out that actually those two had a toxic relationship and the person yelling was finally standing up for themselves the first time ever. Am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? Like when I'm leaving the gym and I see a lady and her little kid coming up behind me, so I hold the door open for them to be a good guy, and she gives me this look of irritation and frustration as if I felt like she couldn't open the door herself. Lady, I just saw you upstairs throwing around 240 pounds. I know you can open this door by yourself. Look, you could probably open this door if I was trying to keep you from opening it. You could open this door if it was locked, or for that matter, probably if it was a wall and not a door. Turns out her son's favorite thing is to open the door for his mom. Am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? What if, as a peacemaker, you see two strangers fighting violently in public, so you grab the aggressor and yank him aside? Meanwhile, the guy that stole his wallet jumps up and runs off. Are you the good guy or are you the bad guy? Like when I'm going through security at the airport and the young man in front of me offers to let me go first, that's respectful, that's thoughtful, and I don't take him up on the offer, but then I think I'd lean into him and I say, you know what, thank you, buddy, that was really nice of you to offer that. I appreciate your courteous behavior. Your parents raised you well, because I'm a good guy. You know, and after he goes through security, goes through the body scanner, and he looks back at me, he smiles at me, completely unaware that he just took my weed through security. Am I the good guy? I wonder about the weirdest things, like, is my iPhone making me dumber? Listen, I used to be a really good speller, but since I've had my iPhone, when I reach a word, if I have any hesitancy at all, I don't even try to spell it anymore. I try to give the best possible clues for iPhone to figure out what I'm talking about. Believe, B-E-L-E-E-V. Did you mean believe? Yes, I did, iPhone. Thank you very much. But on the bright side, the other day I was writing something and I had to write Mississippi, and I was like M-I-S-S. And would you believe it? That 700 repetitions of that stupid sarcastic sing-song thing we used to do as kids came through. M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. And you know what? Autocorrect stepped back and went, well, look at you. Congratulating myself on any victory, no matter how small it might be, is one of my life hacks to enjoy life more, even if it's something small like spelling Mississippi correctly on the first try. I mean, but who knows? Maybe the only reason nobody's ever invited me to be a member of Mensa is because whenever somebody meets me, they just assume I'm already a member. Life is all about the subtle details. Subtle details are super important. For example, I have spent many days in prison, but I have never spent an entire day in prison. That's a pretty important subtle detail. And I wouldn't blame you guys for having a couple questions about that one. Look, I've had friends inside before and I visit them. You know, I put money on their books if needed. That's how I know about guards and when you can joke and when you can't. And if you bump into an inmate on work detail out in the parking lot, you know, you apologize, you avoid eye contact, and you go about your business. Because as I was pulling out of the parking lot and glanced back, that guy was still glaring at me, completely unaware of the fact that he was now carrying the little bag of marijuana for my friend inside. Because when my friends are incarcerated, I'm still their friend. Does that make me a good guy or a bad guy? I wonder about pretty strange things, like during the Wild West, there were a lot of Chinese people working on railroads out west. some of them had to know about Chinese medicine. So when somebody got sick or hurt, there might not have been a qualified doctor around. And what I want to know is, did anybody ever say, well, we would have to go a long ways east to get Western medicine. We're going to have to use Eastern medicine because we're too far west. All right, that was just silly. But there's a lot of silly things that people take very seriously. A lot of beliefs. I try to teach my son that you want to base your beliefs on evidence and reality, but I also tell him that there's a lot of people whose beliefs, they choose to believe things that aren't based on evidence because it makes them feel better. You know, whether it's a religion, a divine creator that's taking care of everything at all times, or the government's there to protect you on the one hand, or crazy conspiracy theories on the other hand, lizard people and whatnot. And I tell him, honestly, your dad is susceptible to that too. I mean, I believe that eventually we people are all going to figure out how to work together as one and make the world a better place for everybody. There's no evidence for that at all. However, optimism is in our nature. I mean, there's 127 million married Americans. And what are the odds of success there? But you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all the superstitions that I've let go of all through my life, they're all accurate. And when I die a long time from now or later this week, whatever the case may be, I'll suddenly come awake in front of the pearly gates, and there will be St. Peter looking down at me, shaking his head, saying, "You really messed up, sinner." And he'll point towards the door that leads to hell. And unlike the way I've lived this life, maybe I will beg and plead for a second chance. Maybe I'll grab him by the lapels and say, "No, no, you don't understand. My mother's in there. She needs me to be in there." But all to no avail. And as I go to the door to my punishment, I'll look back and St. Peter will be looking sternly at me, unaware of the fact that deep within the folds of his holy robes is a sizable package of marijuana from my mother, because I love my mother. I mean, am I the good guy or am I the bad guy here? I really do tend to wonder about the strangest things, like St. Peter. Does he really have lapels on his robe? Things like, did you guys notice that for the first time in the 2 years that I've been doing stand-up, I was not gesturing at all with my hands for this entire routine? Does that make me a good comedian or a bad You guys, I'll see you next time. Be well.
A path diverted in the woods, and I, being a moron, was never seen again.